Nathan Patterson. Why is Everton willing to pay £16 million for Rangers' second-choice right-back? There were 10 of them. At 1:10 a.m. on February 14 last year, Valentine's Day, police turned up at a flat at Hayburn Lane in Glasgow's leafy and desirable West End. There had been complaints about a party, although it was the timing, not the noise, which caused the problem. Scotland was under COVID-19 lockdown and gatherings were forbidden. The police dished out fixed penalty notices, fines, and the 10 partygoers dispersed. Then the rumors began to spread about who they were. 5 were Rangers players. Soon they were being called stupid and selfish by Bayer Leverkusen, the club's former captain, and the thickest people on the planet by Stuart McCall, an ex-Rangers player and interim manager. The First Minister Nicola Sturgeon said it required all my power not to stand here and use expletives when discussing errant young footballers seemingly playing fast and loose with public health laws. Rangers manager at the time, Gerrard, said, "From the top of the club to the bottom we are all really disappointed." What a public flogging Nathan Patterson and the 4 others received back then, less than a year, but also a lifetime ago. It was the first time he was front-page material on Scottish newspapers, and now it is obvious that it will not be the last, albeit for happier reasons from now on. If it feels a little unfair to give the incident such prominence, given that it was out of character and the only disciplinary blemish on an otherwise exemplary career, it also serves to underline Patterson's astonishing rise over the past 12 months. Everton have a long and distinguished history with Scottish players, and this week they spent £11.5 million, potentially rising to £16 million, depending on how well he does, to continue it. Even by Premier League standards, it is quite a statement to give a 5.5-year contract to a 20-year-old who has started only 15 games for a club in the Scottish Premiership. He could become the 3rd most expensive Scottish player ever, after Kieran Tierney's £25 million move to Arsenal in 2019 and Ollie McBurnie's £20 million move to Sheffield United the same year, without even being the first-choice right-back at Rangers. Everton fans need not read too much into that. There was a blockage in his way in the shape of James Tavernier, Rangers captain and a player who has delivered remarkable numbers of goals and assists from full-back to make himself indispensable. That limited Patterson to only 14 and 11 Rangers appearances over the past 3 seasons, and he has played far too rarely. He was too good to be left idle every week, and after a pre-season friendly against Arsenal, Gerrard talked about using both Patterson and Tavernier, one at full-back and the other ahead of him on the right of midfield. It was not an idea he developed. This week Rangers made the understandable call of cashing in on Everton's interest to ease the financial strain at Ibrox, at no significant detriment to their starting 11. So what have Everton bought? Rafa Benitez has signed Seamus Coleman's eventual replacement and a raw talent of enormous potential. Uniquely, Patterson is a big-money arrival from Scotland who will develop and grow by getting far more game time in the Premier League than he did north of the border. If he flourishes, he will have the Goodison Park fans eating from his hand. He is at his best going forward, an exciting and galloping runner who comes alive in the opposition's half. Because he is confident and assured with the ball at his feet, he can hit the line or cut inside to shoot or release passes and cut back. Defensively, he can still look uncomfortable at times, and he had a tough night for Scotland against Israel in October, but his height and technique are foundations the Everton coaches can build on. Patterson is from Glendale in the north of Glasgow and joined Rangers, the club he supported, at 8 years old, as did Billy Gilmore. The pair came through together and are prized graduates of the Scottish FA Performance School system, which hothouses emerging talents by marrying daily coaching and games to their educational curriculum. Physically, Patterson was a slightly late developer, but a breakthrough campaign for Rangers' development team brought the reward of a first-team debut when Gerrard picked him for a Scottish Cup tie against Stranraer in January 2020. It would be another 7 months until his next competitive appearance, against Bayer Leverkusen in a Covid-delayed Europa League tie. The stupid house party escapade could not have come at a worse time. It meant he was isolating just when Tavernier suffered a rare injury and had to come off during a tie against Royal Antwerp. Instead of being on the bench in Belgium, ready to replace him, Patterson was contrite and agonizing on a sofa at his parents' house. "It was probably the most down I have been in my life," he recalled later. "I thought to myself, it is not the end of my career, I will get another opportunity. I won't make any more mistakes like that again." For the second leg, he was a substitute and came on at halftime. Within 16 seconds of the restart, he had seized possession, torn forward and buried a superb finish to score. Redemption. The clouds cleared and he has never looked back. Steve Clarke eased him into the Scotland team. Stephen O'Donnell, the 29-year-old at Motherwell, had been the solid but often criticized first choice, but a clamour grew around Patterson and even the unmovable Clarke saw that his claim had become irresistible. Patterson made his debut just before Euro 2020. Was the youngest player in Scotland's squad for the tournament itself, made a late appearance against Croatia, and has played in 4 of his country's past 7 games. There was even a first international goal, away to Moldova. If things go well at Everton, he will start the World Cup playoff against Ukraine in March. With Andy Robertson on the other side, his marauding play gives Scotland adventure and balance. It was Gerrard who broke the news that he had been picked for Euro 2020, but he did so by texting one morning and asking him to call. Patterson was 19 and 9:30 a.m. is the break of dawn for a teenage boy. Patterson was still half asleep, blearily saw the manager's message, thought of the house party row, and admitted that he thought, "What have I done now?"